Hey everyone, it's Sarah again with another gardening video and another harvesting video. Today I'm going to talk about my ground cherries and maybe harvest a few other things in the garden. So let's just get into it. I spy some zucchini. I think I'm going to go ahead and pick these. This was one of the first things that I check whenever I get into the garden. So I'm just going to go ahead and harvest those. Now I did pick some tomatoes yesterday, but it looks like I have some ripe ones today as well. So I'm going to go ahead and pick those and harvest some of the banana peppers that I have before I get into the other side of the garden, see if there's some other zucchini or summer squash, and then we'll get to the ground cherries. So I'll show you what I get from the tomatoes and banana peppers. Okay, so those are the tomatoes that I picked today. I did get about 4 banana peppers, so it wasn't as much as what I thought it was going to be. Now, I do want to point something out. If you guys remember, whenever I was doing my pruning video, I broke the stem of this yellow pear tomato plant in 2 places. And I'll have you know, now, this was not broken all the way through. It was cracked to where it was still dangling on it, and it was partway on it. And all I did was just wrap it in plastic wrap really tightly after I put it back to where it was. And I did that in 2 places, right here and right here. And everything's still growing on it. Everything's still doing pretty well. So apparently plastic wrap fixes boo-boos occasionally. But I also think that this plant, the yellow pear tomato plant, is just such a prolific plant that you just can't kill it. I have so many tomato plants, so many of them, but these yellow pear tomato plants, I swear, I am getting so many tomatoes. I just picked tomatoes yesterday off of this. Now I know some of them still have green shoulders, but I'm picking them so they don't end up splitting like this. But I just picked some yesterday, and I'll put a little picture to show you guys what I picked yesterday. And I'm picking more today. If you want a tomato plant that grows so prolifically, then I highly recommend the yellow pear tomato plant. And I got those seeds from Baker Creek. They were actually given to me by a friend who ordered seeds from Baker Creek, and they are just so prolific. I have so many of those plants in here because they grew so well whenever I was starting my plants off from seed. So just keep that in mind. If you want to plant a cherry type tomato plant, but you don't want the acidity from a red tomato, then go with the yellow pear because it definitely produces. Now I'm going to harvest some more zucchini. There's one right here. There's a Pattison scallop squash. There's another zucchini. There's a little zucchini here. This plant is pretty much dead, it looks like, so I'm probably going to go ahead and pick that one off, even though it's kind of small. I picked these 3 zucchini from, those 3 zucchini from over here, as well as the Pattison squash. I'm going to go ahead and get started on the jalapenos, the cayennes, and then finally we'll move on to the ground cherries. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and harvest some of my jalapenos and cayenne peppers, and then we'll get started on talking about my ground cherries. Alright, so I have picked my jalapenos right there and my cayenne peppers. Now I'm still trying to figure out what to do with my jalapenos. I think I might pickle some, but I wanted to do something else as well. The cayenne peppers I typically dry for like red pepper flakes. So if you have any ideas, be sure to leave that in the comment section below. Now, finally, we're getting to my ground cherries, and as you can see, there's a little pathway there. I have not picked these in quite some time, so there's a lot of fruit that I've lost, but these have just become a pain in the butt because they're just overtaking everything. So if you look, that is the ground cherry. Whenever it is fully ripe, let me see if I can find one, it will turn papery and then fall onto the ground, hence why it's called a ground cherry. Here's one. Oh, there was one in there. I'm pretty sure birds have been eating the fruits of my labor, which hasn't been real tough labor because I've just kind of let these things grow wild. So let me see if I can find one. Okay, so I found one. So they turn this yellowish color and they fall on the ground, and then the husk dries out. And when the husk dries out, it's ripe and ready to be eaten. So I'm going to go through here and see how many I have. I'm thinking I'm not going to have very many because it looks like a lot have fallen recently. But I'm going to go ahead and just look through and see if there are any. So I ended up only harvesting this little bit. I really should have kept more on top of harvesting the cherry tomatoes, or Jiminy Crickets. I really should have kept up on harvesting the ground cherries, but, you know, life gets hectic. You get busy with other things. I was paying more attention to the tomatoes and everything like that, so I hadn't really harvested anything from the ground cherry plants for maybe 2 weeks, maybe more. Hey baby, here's, I got a little friend. Hey baby. Hey, want to make a little friends? A little cameo. Anyway, there's still going to be plenty of time to pick more ground cherries. I'm just going to have to come out here more often to check them. But I am going to, or I plan on doing a video of me preserving my ground cherries. I do want to do a jam, and it's going to be the first time, I mean, this is the first time I've ever worked with ground cherries before and ever had them. And I think I mentioned in one of my previous videos that I do not plan on ever planting them again. I personally don't like the taste of the ground cherry raw, but maybe I'll like it as a jam. I'm not sure. And if I do, then I think maybe I will designate a raised garden bed that has a different type of functionality to it in regards to harvesting the ground cherry versus it falling on the ground like it does, because it just makes it hard. Anyway, the next time that I have the chance to harvest ground cherries, I'll definitely do a video on that. But I do plan on doing a video on preserving my ground cherries into a jam. First time that I'll be doing it, so I'm going to be a novice at it. So you can follow me on my journey as I'm going through and learning this as well. This is really the first year that I've gotten into preserving things. Typically I just do refrigerator pickles, and I've dried cayenne peppers, and then I've blanched and frozen food. But I took a chance and I actually canned some of my own tomatoes, so that was fun, and I plan on doing that again whenever I have enough to do that again. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to hit like and subscribe if you did. Go ahead and hit that alert button if you want to see frequent videos from me. I'm trying to do some pretty much daily, that way you guys can see me as I'm going through and what my process typically is on a daily basis with my garden. And if you have any suggestions or questions, please feel free to leave it in the comment section below. I'm always intrigued to see if anybody has a more efficient way of doing something, because sometimes these things are what I'm doing for the first time, and sometimes I can't find information on how to make it more efficient. So please be sure to leave anything in the comment section below. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day and happy gardening. Until next time.